to be run by my two sons, and I hope at the end of 8 years I'll come back and I'll say, oh, you did a good job.
But despite Mr. Trump's efforts to distance himself, not all documents have yet been filed. For example, Trump owns at least 4 corporations with the word Dubai in their names, and to date, none of their management documents have been updated. At least one still lists him as president, according to the Delaware Secretary of State. Indicating that Mr. Trump resigned from all 100 entities. And public records show at least 2 properties in New York have been transferred to the Donald J. Trump Revocable Trust. But one property remains particularly thorny. The federal government, now run by President Trump, also owns the Trump Washington, D.C. hotel. The lease specifically says that an elected official cannot be a party to the contract. So new documents filed by the Trump Organization with Washington, D.C. government state that all beneficial ownership previously held by Donald J. Trump personally now is held by the Donald J. Trump Revocable Trust. The agency overseeing the contract won't tell us yet if this change is sufficient.
It's a very, very small step in the right direction to the extent that the president has given up his management responsibilities to his sons. The problem, though, is the president still controls the outcome.
Stephen Schooner teaches at the George Washington University Law School. He says the president's ownership of these properties leaves an open avenue for anyone who wants to influence him by buying 6-figure golf memberships or choosing Trump hotels to host lavish events.
One of the most scary things about all of this is how easy it is for anyone, a foreign government, a lobbyist, or a special interest group, to literally funnel money into the pockets of the president and the president's family through the hotel properties.
The Arctic has gone a dramatic transformation in recent years, with significantly warmer temperatures, lower levels of sea ice, and more open water.
Now, a powerful North Atlantic storm is expected to bring more warm air to the region by Thursday, and it could reach up to 50 degrees above normal, which would be near the freezing point and lead to even more melting. Meteorologist Jeff Barandelli has been tracking the storm from our affiliate WPC in West Palm Beach, Florida. Jeff, tell us about this system and the impact that it could have on the Arctic.
Well, first of all, Rena, this is a huge system. I mean, it looks like a hurricane, but this is not in the tropics. This is in the North Atlantic. This is the way it looked yesterday with our high-res satellite. You can kind of see the center, what looks to be an eye. Winds are 90 miles an hour in this storm, and waves yesterday up to 45 feet. And here's a view of it in animating through the last 36 hours or so. You can see it transporting all that warmth straight up into the Arctic. That is Iceland. That's Greenland right there. And so this is a very unusual pattern. There's the storm system right there. And watch what happens later tonight and into Thursday. You can see that warm plume of air that shoots right towards the North Pole. And those air temperatures are right by the melting point. It will be the 3rd time in 3 months that we have seen this type of unusual warming there.
And Jeff, explain the science behind what's causing this.
All right, so what we have is, first of all, a lot of melting sea ice. So take a look at this. Back in 1980, there was a ton of sea ice all across the Arctic. This is the way it looks right now.
For sure
As
yet.
you can see, sea ice has really gone down, and that's caused a problem, kind of a positive feedback loop, where we're seeing less radiation that escapes into space, and that means more of it's absorbed, and that's really starting to heat up the water and also the air. So this is the theory that a lot of scientists are looking at this year. We think a lot of it is probably climate change. Some of it is natural variability. But with all this warm water to the east of Greenland, it's causing a big bubble in the jet stream, big area of high pressure, and the jet stream is now forced to go up and above that bubble and transport all that warm air right towards the North Pole, and that's what's been happening. And we do think that climate change is having not necessarily just a gradual impact, but a pretty fast impact, unfortunately.
And does this mean that the Arctic is warming faster than other places on Earth?
By far, yes. And this is something that we looked at in our computer models 20, 30 years ago. We knew, according to the computer models, the Arctic was probably going to warm up faster. And if it did warm up faster, it would be a clue that climate change is in fact happening. We'll take a look at this. The result is in already. In the Arctic, air temperatures have gone up around 4.5 degrees, but our entire globe has only gone up 1.8 degrees. So there's been a huge change here. The Arctic is warming much faster.
So, Jeff, what are the odds of us being able to undo the melting in the Arctic?
You know, it's going to be difficult because some of that is baked in. However, we can make a difference. We have to kind of think collectively on this. I mean, one of the backlashes in the United States right now, and in other parts of the world as well, is people don't like to be told that they have to change their habits to help necessarily. But I do think if you really are interested in this and you're worried about climate change, then be the change that you would like to see in the world. If you're really interested in then you can actually stop eating meat or just eat less meat. Believe it or not, that reduces your carbon footprint by 50% just doing that.
So
and
stop this
obviously
some form
switching
of
over to
chicken.
wind and solar if you can, in addition driving electric cars. So if we do that within our little groups of people, we can have an influence on just a few people.
have no
They will
groups
have an
of
influence on
people.
a few people. And I do think we can reverse this change over time.
Jeff, before we let you go, on the other side of the globe, tell us about this crack in Antarctica that forced an entire research station to move.
Yeah, scientists are very concerned about this. So this is called Larsen C, and a big chunk of it is about to break off. It's been moving very fast. A crack has been developing in it very quickly, and over the next year or two, scientists do think it's going to break off. Now, it's not going to cause a sea level rise because it's already kind of sitting in the water. However, what they're worried about is once that barrier breaks free, some of that land ice could start sliding into the water, and that would, of course, increase our sea level. So it's something we're concerned about. Scientists are not ready to say that that is due solely to global warming. They're not ready to pin the tail on the donkey, if you will. But certainly scientists are concerned not only here in the Antarctic, but especially in the Arctic, where we're seeing tremendous changes. And there's really no doubt at this point that it's not due to climate change, at least some of it. Some of it could be natural variability, but climate change is definitely taking its toll. And I'll leave you with this. I think when we look back many years from now at 2016, 2017, these will probably be pivotal changing years that we look back into a new climate reality.
Wow, it's fascinating, but also a little bit scary. Meteorologist Jeff Berardelli, thank you, Jeff.
Of course.
Well, Twitter is taking more steps to crack down on hate speech and abuse. The social media company says it started identifying people who've been banned for abusive behavior. Twitter says it will stop them from creating new accounts. The company also plans to introduce safer search results. Users will also notice low-quality tweets will be collapsed while making the most relevant replies surface. Well, turning now to a deadly attack in Afghanistan today. At least 20 people were killed when a bomb exploded near the Supreme Court in the capital city of Kabul. More than 40 others were injured.
Police say it appears a suicide bomber was targeting Supreme Court workers as they left their offices at the end of the workday. No group has claimed responsibility for the attack, but the police say the Taliban has targeted the court and its employees in the past.
Well, there is now an app that shows you how to react to a mass shooting, a knife attack, or a bombing. A British group of trauma experts developed Citizen Aid. It teaches the public how to keep safe, how to organize people around you, and how to treat serious injuries. Riley Carson reports from Birmingham, England.
This training exercise shows exactly what British security forces are trying to prevent. A terrorist attack on the streets of London. As police rush to secure the scene, victims, sometimes critically injured, have to wait for treatment. So 4 British trauma experts developed an app.
We have to empower the public with skills and knowledge to be able to act in the first few minutes.
Army Dr. Timothy Hodgetts survived a terrorist bombing 25 years ago and says the most recent attacks in Berlin and Istanbul highlight the need for citizen aid.
It is at the front of people's minds that it can happen, even though it's a rare event.
The app, which also comes as a booklet, shows how to react to a mass shooting, a knife attack, or a bombing. It teaches how to assess and treat traumatic injuries.
If he's lost a limb, then we need to use a tourniquet.
I would use something like a scarf.
Step by step, the app shows how to use whatever you can find to stop bleeding. Creators say it also reinforces the police message that you should run, hide, and call them first.
When you've got to that place of safety and you've brought injured with you, then that's the time to get the app out.
You know, you teach people to do these skills, they will save a life. That's an amazing thing to be able to train for.
Riley Carlson, CBS News, Birmingham, England.
Coming up after the break, new developments in Melania Trump's legal battle against a blogger who wrote that she worked as a high-end escort.
Plus, President Trump is set to meet with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu next week at the White House. We'll take a look at how the president's public support for a two-state solution could change the tone of their sit down. You're watching CBSN.
Fair enough.